What God expects of your husband. If you love Jesus, love your wife in this way. The room is quiet, but something feels off. She's right there, yet distant. Conversations have turned into short replies, long silences, and tired sighs. You notice it, but you don't always know what to say. So you carry on, working, providing, doing what you believe a good husband should do. And still, something is missing. I've seen how easy it is to think love is there, while the connection slowly fades right in front of you. The truth cuts deeper than we expect. God never defined love as mere presence or responsibility. He defined it through sacrifice. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Ephesians 5:25. That kind of love is not passive. It moves, it gives, it lays itself down daily. Not just in big moments, but in the unseen, ordinary ones. If you say you love Jesus, this is where it becomes real. Not in words, not in church attendance, but in how you love her when it's inconvenient, when it's hard, when no one is watching. Because the way you love your wife is not separate from your faith. It reveals it. Number 1, love her sacrificially, not conveniently, when understanding her emotions doesn't come naturally. That's where this kind of love begins to separate itself from convenience. Because biblical love doesn't ask, "Is this easy for me?" It asks, "How can I give, even here?" God never called a husband to love only when it feels natural. He called him to love in a way that mirrors Christ, and Christ didn't wait for comfort. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Ephesians 5:25. That phrase, "gave himself," means something real. It means choosing her well-being over your own comfort. It means stepping toward her when it would be easier to step away. Sacrificial love is not always dramatic. Most of the time, it's quiet. It's choosing patience instead of shutting down. It's helping without being asked. It's noticing her burdens and stepping in, even when you feel like you've already done enough. The world teaches that love should feel effortless, but Scripture shows us that real love often costs something. Time, energy, pride, providing financially, staying faithful, being physically present, these matter. But they are not the fullness of what God asks. Sacrificial love goes deeper. It engages the heart. It requires attention, intention, and a willingness to lay yourself down daily, not just occasionally. Jesus didn't love halfway. He didn't give leftovers. He gave fully, even when it led him to the cross. And while your calling is not the cross, it is still a daily laying down of self. A choice, again and again, to love her not based on what you receive, but based on what God has already shown you. When a husband begins to love this way, something changes. Walls soften, trust grows. She begins to feel safe, not because life is perfect, but because she knows she is not alone in it. And from that place of sacrifice, a deeper responsibility begins to emerge, not just to love her, but to guide her with a heart that reflects Christ. Number 2, lead her spiritually with humility, not control. And that deeper responsibility cannot be separated from how you lead, not with pressure, not with harsh authority, but with a steady, humble walk that points her toward God. Because spiritual leadership was never meant to feel heavy in her life, it was meant to feel safe. There's a quiet damage that happens when leadership turns into control. When decisions are made without listening, when her voice is dismissed, when being the head becomes an excuse to dominate rather than serve. That's not the model Scripture gives. The example we're given is Christ, and his leadership was marked by humility, not force. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies, Ephesians 5:28. You don't ignore your own body. You care for it. You listen to it. You respond to its needs. That's the picture. Spiritual leadership begins long before words are spoken. It starts with your own walk with God. The way you pray when no one sees. The way you respond when you're tested. The way you handle frustration, disappointment, and failure. She doesn't just hear your faith, she watches it. And if your life reflects Christ, your leadership will naturally carry weight without needing to demand it. Leadership is not about perfection, it's about direction. You are not called to stand above her, but to walk ahead with humility, inviting her to follow as you follow Christ. And humility changes everything. It allows you to admit when you're wrong. It keeps your heart soft instead of defensive. It reminds you that your role is not to control her growth, but to nurture it. Just as Christ leads with patience, you are called to guide with gentleness, not rushing her, not comparing her, but walking with her at a pace that reflects love, not pressure. When a husband leads this way, trust deepens in a different kind of way. She doesn't feel managed, she feels covered. She doesn't feel silenced, she feels heard. And from that place of humility, your love begins to reflect something even more powerful. Not just in how you lead, but in how you value her in every part of your life. Number 3, honor her as precious, not common. And that sense of safety grows even deeper when she knows she is truly valued, not just in words, but in how you see her. Not as ordinary, not as someone easily overlooked, but as someone deeply precious in your life. Because the way you honor her will shape how she feels in your presence every single day. It's easy over time to become familiar in a way that dulls appreciation. The routines settle in, the responsibilities stack up, and without realizing it, a husband can begin to treat his wife as predictable, expected, even taken for granted. But Scripture calls for something very different. Ye husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect, so that nothing will hinder your prayers, or 1 Peter 3:7. That's serious. The way you treat her is not a small matter. It is tied directly to your relationship with God. To honor her means you don't reduce her to roles. She is not just the one who handles the home or the one who supports you. She is a person created by God, with a soul, a mind, and a heart that carries weight and worth. Honoring her means you listen when she speaks. You consider her feelings. You respect her perspective, even when it differs from yours. It also shows up in how you speak about her, to others, and to her face. Do your words lift her up, or do they quietly diminish her? Do you speak with gratitude or with criticism that slowly wears her down? Honor protects her dignity. It refuses to expose her weaknesses carelessly. It chooses to see what is good and to affirm it openly. And honor is not just public, it's deeply personal. It's in the tone you use when no one else is around. It's in whether you make time for her or constantly push her aside for other priorities. It's in the small gestures that say, "You matter to me." Because when a woman feels honored, she feels secure, not in perfection, but in being truly seen. This kind of respect builds something strong. It creates an environment where love can grow without fear, where she doesn't have to question her worth in your eyes. And from that place of honor, your responsibility goes even deeper, not just in how you see her, but in how faithfully you guard your heart for her alone. Number 4, be faithful in heart and mind, not just in action. Faithfulness is not only about what you do, it's about what you allow to live in your heart. It's possible to stay physically loyal while the mind wanders unchecked. to entertain thoughts, images, or desires that slowly pull your attention away from her. But Jesus addressed this directly, going beyond actions to the condition of the heart. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:28. That's not exaggeration, it's clarity. God sees what is hidden, and He calls for purity at that level. This kind of faithfulness requires discipline. It means being honest about what you consume, what you watch, what you dwell on, what you allow your eyes to linger on. It means recognizing that your heart doesn't drift all at once. It moves little by little, choice by choice. And if you don't guard it, it will begin to divide your attention in ways that weaken your love. But this isn't only about avoiding wrong. It's about actively choosing right, choosing to focus on her, to appreciate her, to invest your thoughts and affection where your covenant already stands. Faithfulness grows when you intentionally turn your heart toward your wife, not just away from temptation. It's not cold restraint, it's redirected devotion. There's also a quiet integrity in this. A life where your private world matches your public commitment, where who you are alone is the same as who you claim to be beside her. That kind of consistency builds trust in a way words never can. She may not see every thought you have, but she will feel the difference when your heart is truly present with her. And when a husband chooses this kind of inner faithfulness, something stabilizes. The relationship becomes anchored, not in appearances, but in truth. And from that place of integrity, love is no longer divided or distracted. It becomes steady, focused, and ready to express itself not just in loyalty, but in the everyday patience that real love demands. Number 5, serve her with patience, not irritation. And that steady, undivided love is tested most in the ordinary, repetitive moments of life. Not in the big promises, but in the daily interactions that either build closeness or quietly create distance. This is where patience becomes more than a virtue. It becomes a decision. There are moments when she's overwhelmed, when emotions run high, when words don't come out perfectly. In those moments, irritation can rise quickly. The urge to correct, to withdraw, or to respond sharply feels almost automatic. But Scripture draws a clear line between reaction and godly love. A love is patient. Love is kind. It is not easily angered. 1 Corinthians 13:4-5. That kind of patience is not passive. It's controlled strength. Serving her with patience means you don't treat her struggles as interruptions to your peace. You don't rush her through what she's feeling just because you're uncomfortable. Instead, you slow down. You listen. You choose to stay present even when it would be easier to disengage. Patience says, "You matter more than my frustration right now." And this kind of service is deeply practical. It's in how you respond when she repeats something because she feels unheard. It's in how you handle tension without escalating it. It's in choosing a gentle tone when everything in you wants to be sharp. These are small moments, but they carry weight. Over time, they shape the atmosphere of your home. Patience also requires self-control. It forces you to confront your own reactions, your pride, your need to be understood first, your tendency to defend yourself. Instead of letting those lead, you learn to pause, to think before speaking, to respond in a way that builds, not breaks. This is not weakness, it's maturity shaped by the Spirit. And when a husband consistently chooses patience, something begins to soften. She feels safe to express herself without fear of being dismissed or met with anger. The relationship becomes a place of understanding rather than tension. And from that place of calm, your love finds another powerful expression, not just in how you respond, but in the words you choose to speak into her life. And those words, spoken in patience or frustration, carry more weight than we often realize. Long after a conversation ends, they linger. They settle into her heart, shaping how she sees herself and how she feels around you. To say things you don't fully mean, but still deeply wound. A careless comment, a sarcastic remark, a sharp tone. These may feel temporary to you, but they can leave lasting marks. Scripture speaks clearly about this responsibility. Hey, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up, that it may benefit those who listen. Ephesians 4:29. Your words are meant to build, not break. Speaking life doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means addressing issues with grace and truth, not with contempt. It means choosing words that guide rather than condemn. Do you notice her efforts? Do you acknowledge her strengths? Or do you stay silent, assuming she already knows? Encouragement is not unnecessary. It is essential. A wife who hears sincere, thoughtful words from her husband begins to feel seen, valued, and supported. Not because she's perfect, but because she's appreciated. Tone matters just as much as content. The same sentence can either comfort or wound, depending on how it's delivered. Gentleness doesn't weaken your message. It strengthens it. It opens her heart instead of closing it. And when your words consistently carry kindness, they create an environment where trust can grow. Over time, your voice becomes familiar in her mind. The question is, what does it sound like? Is it critical, distant, and sharp? Or is it steady, encouraging, and full of grace? Because the way you speak will either draw her closer or slowly push her away. And when your words begin to reflect life instead of harm, something deeper is strengthened. A commitment that is not shaken by difficulty, but held together by love that endures through every season. Number 7, stay committed through every season, not just the easy ones. And that kind of life-giving love is proven most clearly over time. Not when everything feels smooth, but when things get difficult, when emotions shift, when stress builds, when life doesn't look the way you expected. Because commitment is easy when it's comfortable. The real question is what remains when it's not. Marriage moves through seasons. Some are full of joy and connection. Others feel distant, strained, even confusing. There may be times when communication feels harder, when affection doesn't come as naturally, when burdens from outside the relationship begin to weigh heavily inside it. In those moments, it's tempting to withdraw, to give less, to protect yourself, to quietly check out. But Scripture calls for something deeper, something enduring. Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled. Hebrews 13:4. Honor in marriage is not seasonal, it is constant. Commitment means you don't base your love on how you feel in the moment. Feelings can change, sometimes quickly, but a covenant is not built on emotion. It is built on a promise before God. And that promise is meant to hold steady, even when emotions are unsteady. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means you stay engaged. You keep choosing the relationship, even when it requires effort and patience. There is strength in staying, in continuing to show up, in choosing to work through challenges instead of avoiding them. Commitment says, I'm here, not just for the good days, but for all of them. It's in the decision to keep communicating when it would be easier to go silent, to keep forgiving when pride wants to hold on, to keep investing even when the return feels slow. God's design for marriage reflects His own faithfulness, steady, enduring, and unchanging. And while human love will never be perfect, it is meant to reflect that same perseverance. A husband who remains committed through every season creates something strong. Not a fragile connection that depends on circumstances, but a bond that grows deeper because it has been tested. And when commitment becomes this steady, faithful presence, love is no longer dependent on ease. It becomes rooted in something greater, something that points beyond itself, back to the very source of love, and calls you to reflect Him fully in the way you love her. Conclusion: love her as Christ loved you. This is where it all comes together, not in theory, but in the quiet daily choices you make. Loving your wife this way is not about getting everything right every time. It's about surrender, about allowing your life to be shaped by the same love you say you believe in. Because if Jesus truly has your heart, it will show in how you treat the one closest to you. This kind of love doesn't come naturally. It goes against pride, against comfort, against the instinct to put yourself first. But it is possible when you stop relying on your own strength and start walking closely with Him, day by day, choice by choice. Even when it's difficult, your wife doesn't need perfection. She needs consistency. She needs to know that your love is not temporary, not conditional, not distant, that it reflects something steady and real. And when you love her this way, you're not just strengthening your marriage, you're living out your faith in the most visible way. Because in the end, loving her well is not separate from loving Jesus. It is one of the clearest ways you show that you truly do.